What is up, guys? My name is Sophia Leone, and welcome back to reading Tsukihime in its entirety. Now, before I get started, I actually forgot a very important thing. The walkthrough that I'm using. I probably should have specified this in the first video, but I am going in, like, order of routes, I guess. So, we will be doing Arcuid's route. I don't actually know how to properly pronounce her name, so I apologize if you know how to pronounce that, because I don't, and I haven't figured it out yet. So, apologies in advance. But yes, we will be doing the near side route for Arc, and then we will be doing the near side route for Ciel after that, and then we'll do the far side routes in the future. But let's focus on one thing at a time. Arcuid's route. So, so now I need to go here. Okay. Now then, I need to get a hold of myself and head back to the mansion. I don't have anything to do, so I hurry up and leave school. Come to think of it, I hadn't left the school by the main entrance since the entrance ceremony. I guess this will be the way to and from school from now on, since I live in the mansion. Leaving from the main gate, I come to the intersection that leads to the residential district. This is the point at which the paths to the city and the residential district, where the mansion is, part. Oh no. Not so soon. God damn it. Alright, female voice incoming.
Oh, it's Tohno-kun.
Suddenly, I run into Yumizuka. Oh, hello, Yumizuka-san. It may have been because of Ciel-senpai's teasing, but I feel a little embarrassed. Yumizuka-san looks at me, bewildered. Yumizuka-san? Is there something on my face?
I was wondering what you were doing here, Tohno-kun. Isn't your house in the other direction?
Well, it was until yesterday, but I'm living somewhere else starting today. From now on, I'll be living at the place on top of the hill at the end of that residential district.
Ah, so that's what you were talking about this morning.
Yumizuka clamps her fist and an open palm together in understanding. Well, all flattery aside, that gesture seems incredibly cute. That's right. I guess there's no point in hiding it from you since you already know. I'm leaving my guardians, the Arimas, and going back to my real house today.
Your real house? You mean the Tohno-san mansion?
Yeah, I don't think it really suits me either.
I see. You're really a prince on top of a hill after all.
It was a secret only Inui. Fuck.
It was a secret only Inui-kun and I knew, but now I guess everyone's going to find out.
With a faint smile, Yumizuka casts her gaze into the distance. She looks out at the horizon, as if looking at the Tohno mansion off in the distance, on top of the hill.
But will you be alright? Even if it is your house, you've been away for 8 years, right? Aren't you afraid or worried?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of uneasy. I never liked that mansion to begin with, and now it's going to feel like someone else's house, too. But still, I can't lead a carefree life on my own and leave my sister Akia there all by herself. No matter how uneasy I am, I have to return to the mansion. In the end, it's still my home. I think it's only natural for me to go back.
I see. Sorry for stopping you, Tohno-kun. You must be in a hurry, right?
No, not really. I was just having a stroll on the way home.
Ah, I see.
For some reason, Yumizuka looks downcast and falls silent. What's wrong, Yumizuka-san? Are you feeling sick? I break the silence, but she continues to stare downwards without raising her head. I can't just leave her there, so I continue to stand there looking at her. And then... Yeah? What is it?
I'm going home along the same way as you, until we reach the hill.
Really? Then let's go back together for part of the way. Yumizuka's eyes widen and she stands there stiffly for a moment.
Yeah, you're right. We're going back the same way, so it wouldn't be strange for us to go together for part of the way, right?
She says this all with an excessively cheerful voice and stands right beside me.
Just at the right time, too. I'm not too familiar with the streets around here, so would you mind guiding me?
Wait, was that Shiki reading that, or was that her? I can't tell. Sure. Well then, let's go down this street. It's a back street that leads all the way to the street on the hill. I'm gonna look like such an idiot if these lines are reversed. Because I genuinely can't tell sometimes. I walk home while chatting with Yumizuka. Talking to Yumizuka isn't anything particularly special, but it is enjoyable in a peaceful kind of way. Despite what Arihiko had said, Yumizuka Satsuki has a gentle air about her, and I feel safe being around her. While we're talking, Yumizuka suddenly laughs as if she had remembered something. That's supposed to be a laugh? I never met anyone who laughs like that. What is it all of a sudden? Did I say something funny?
No, that's not it. It's just that starting tomorrow I'll be taking the same route to school as you.
She laughs, looking truly happy. That honest, smiling face is enough to make me happy as I watch her. I didn't realize it up until now. Even putting her looks and mannerisms aside, Yumizuka Satsuki is kinda cute. I'm slowly beginning to understand why the boys in our class had been so worked up over her for so long now. Our conversation ceases. I'm simply fascinated by Yumizuka's smile, and the two of us fall silent. Without saying anything, we walk towards the residential district in the sunset. Suddenly...
Hey, do you remember what happened during the winter vacation of our second year in middle school?
Yumizuka murmurs. I tilt my head to one side. The winter vacation of the second year of middle school was when I had applied to stay for extra lessons at school because I felt bad about staying at the Aramoses. I remember it well enough, but I still don't understand why she asked me about it.
Just as I thought. Someone like Tohno-kun would never have remembered.
Disappointed, Yumizuka's shoulder... God, I can't read. Disappointed, Yumizuka's shoulders droop.
There were 2 sports sheds at our middle school, remember? One was a new shed used by the big clubs, and the other one was an old one used by the smaller clubs, like badminton. The old shed had a certain problem where the alignment of the door was bad, so there were often times when it wouldn't open.
Old shed? That little concrete building at the back of the gymnasium? Ah, that shed. The one which they stopped using after some students got trapped inside.
Yeah, that's the one. The students were second years from the badminton club.
Yeah, something like that did happen. It was early in the new year, on a cold winter's day. The first 3 days of the new year having passed, I had applied for extra lessons and requested to stay behind at school and help out because I felt bad about staying at the Aramoses. But even that was only until 5 in the evening. It had become dark, and I was forced out of the classrooms as all the teachers were going home. The middle of winter. Even if it was only 5, the surroundings really had darkened. The weather report had predicted snow for that day, and the cold was extra harsh. And so, just when I had decided to head straight home for the day, I heard a banging sound from the old shed and I went to check things out. Is anyone in there? I asked, and I heard the voices of several female students in reply from inside the shed. They had been trapped in there for 2 hours. While packing up the club equipment, they had closed the door because of the cold, and now it wouldn't open again. They couldn't open the door no matter what, and wanted me to call one of the teachers for help. But the teachers had all gone home. Even if I were to call them now on the phone, it'd at least take another hour. The cold on that day was truly terrible, and the kind of cold that should have prompted snow. I thought it would be cruel to leave those girls stuck in the shed wearing only their PE uniforms for another hour. After some hesitation and confirming that no one else was around, I took off my glasses and cut the line on the shed door. the door opened, and about 5 female students, eyes red from crying, poured out. Come to think of it, there was something like that. But I'm surprised you know about it. The captain of the Trapped Badminton Club told me this has to do with the club's survival, so don't tell anyone else. It was almost like she was threatening me.
Oh, Tohno-kun, you had no interest in knowing who was trapped inside there, did you?
Listen.
Listen, I was one of those badminton club members.
Yumizuka sounds like she's pouting. So in other words...
I still remember it well. When I think about it now, it was only being trapped inside a shed, but at the time, it was cold and dark, and I was really worried. Everyone thought we were going to freeze to death like that. My stomach was growling from hunger, too. I was just about to collapse.
That must have been rough. I can't really empathize with her, so I give a half-hearted response. Unconcerned, Yumizuka continues her recollections, bringing up old events anew.
And just when everyone was trembling, you came along and asked, "Is anyone in there?" in your usual unexcited voice, and then the captain got angry and shouted, "Can't you tell just by looking?" Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. There was a loud bang when she threw a bat at the door. I was really surprised.
That's right,
Yumizuka says, laughing.
But when we heard all the teachers had gone home, we really lost all hope. We couldn't stand being there for even a minute longer, yet we had to face the prospect of being trapped until the next day. Just when we were thinking about how miserable the world was, you knocked on the door and said, "I might be able to open the door if you can keep it a secret."
Yeah, and then I heard another bang and someone said if it opened that easily we wouldn't be suffering in here. She was really angry.
Yeah, the captain felt responsible for us getting trapped, so she didn't have much patience to spare. But soon after that, the door opened. Everyone was happy that the captain's knocking with the bat must have worked and ran outside, but I was watching you aimlessly stand by the door.
Yumizuka looks at me warmly, but that only troubles me. To me, it meant nothing, so I can't really appreciate her gratitude.
I was crying really hard at the time. My eyes just felt like they were swelling up, and they looked terrible. What do you think you said when you saw me like that?
I don't know. What did I say? I really don't remember, so I ask, as if it was something someone else had done. Despite this, Yumizuka still looks at me happily.
You put your hand on my head and said, "Hurry up and go home and eat some ozuni." I was a little embarrassed because I was trembling so much from the cold.
I knit my brows. I don't know what it meant. I don't know what I meant back then.
I think you meant for me to warm up my body by having some ozuni.
I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. I see. It was right after New Year's, after all. That does sound like the stupid kind of thing I would say. Now that it's put to me like this, I regret not having picked something better to say.
Back then I thought, there are plenty of reliable people at school, but if I ever really need to be saved, it'll be someone like Tohno-kun who saves me.
You're exaggerating. Look, it's like how a baby chick thinks the first human it meets is its mother. I just happened to help you.
That's not true. Ever since then, I really believed that you'd come and help me no matter what the problem was.
Her expression is quite resolute. You're giving me too much credit, Yumizuka-san. I'm not that reliable of a person.
It's alright. That's what I believe. So, let me keep believing it.
She pronounces this while staring straight at me, and I'm too embarrassed to offer a rebuttal. Well, I guess you can believe what you want.
Isn't that right? So if I'm ever in a pinch, you'll come and help me, right?
Yumizuka asks me, smiling. To be honest, that would be kinda troubling. Despite what she thinks, I'm not the sort of guy who can do everything. I'm not. But when she faces me with that smile, I don't want to destroy that faith she has in me. Yeah, if it's within my power, I'll help you.
Yep. Thank you, Tohno-kun. I know it's a bit late to say this, but I was really happy because of what you said to me back then.
Saying that, Yumizuka suddenly stops. Naturally, I stop too.
I've always wanted to talk with you like this, Tohno-kun.
Somewhere in her voice was a hint of wistfulness. Perhaps it's because of the red light from the sunset, but somehow, Yumizuka looks lonely. What do you mean? You can talk to me anytime.
No, I can't. Inui-kun is always around you, and besides, I can't become someone like you, Tohno-kun.
With that reserved answer, Yumizuka draws away from me.
Well, my house is this way, so I'll see you at school tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Smiling, Yumizuka waves her hand and begins walking down another street. I walk along a different path than the one I usually take. Passing through unfamiliar streets, I slowly approach the Tohno mansion. The surroundings aren't completely unfamiliar. After all, I had lived here until I was 9 years old, 8 years ago. This is not the first time I've taken this path back to the mansion. My feelings are a little complex. The path home is nostalgic, yet fresh. Up until just now, I hadn't looked forward to returning to the Tohno household. Now it doesn't seem so bad. The house I arrived in... The house I lived in until I was 9 years old. Right now, my sister Akia is in that utterly un-Japanese Western-style mansion. Tohno Makihisa, my old man who hated me, and the master of the Tohno household, died a few days ago. My mother died from illness after Akia was born, so the Tohnos had dwindled down to me and my sister. Being the eldest son, you would think I would stand to become the Tohno heir, but I have no such privilege. To become the Tohno heir means being bound by a strict upbringing. I've lost count of the number of times my father scolded me over my dislike of not being able to live freely. That was when I got involved in that accident, and my body became weakened. My father saw it as a good opportunity to get rid of me. His reasoning was something along the lines of, someone who could die on any moment can't become the heir, even if he is the eldest son. Sadly for my father, I betrayed his expectations by making a recovery, but my sister Akia was already deemed to be the heir to the Tohno household. And so I've heard that Akia, who was already being raised harshly in order to become a proper daughter of the Tohno household, received an even harsher upbringing since then. That was a long time ago. I played together with Akia in the mansion, back before the accident. After that, I never saw her again. Apparently, Akia tried to visit me a few times when I first was entrusted to the Arenas. Unfortunately, we were never able to meet because I had to go to the hospital every day. We completely lost contact after Akia went to a boarding school. Unlike Akia, I am isolated from the main family. That's why I can live freely like this. My high school is just an average high school, and our chance of contact was pretty much zero. My old man died, and I received word telling me to come back. To be blunt, I had no intention whatsoever of returning to the Tohno household. But Akia is at that house. When we were children, Akia was an obedient child, always looking frightened, as if she were constantly enduring something. She would always follow close behind, her footsteps pattering behind me. She was frail, and her long black hair and fancy Western clothes made her resemble a French doll. I'm worried about her living all alone in that big mansion, with the old man gone. But more than anything, I feel guilty. After pushing all the Tohno family responsibilities on her and selfishly living a free life by myself. Perhaps my acceptance to return to the mansion is like my apology to Akia. The Tohno mansion is unnecessarily big. Surrounded by iron railings, you could say the entire lot is abnormally expansive, being so large that a whole elementary school could fit inside. The garden, surrounded by trees, is more like a forest. The mansion is at the heart of that forest, and there are a few other buildings separated from it. I didn't think anything of it when I was a child, but now that I have lived in an ordinary household for 8 years, the excessive size feels almost criminal. The gates aren't locked. I push them open and head towards the mansion doors. They tower oppressively, bearing down on any visitors. Beside the iron double doors is an unmatching doorbell. All right. Shaking off my nervousness, I press it. There isn't any affectionate ding-dong chime from the doorbell. The oppressive silence continues for a few seconds. Then the sound of pattering footsteps behind the door indicates someone's presence. We have been waiting for you. I don't know who's speaking. The door opens with a creak. Inside lay the lobby I remembered, and a young girl in an apron. Okay, it's another girl. I don't know how many girls are in this game.
Thank goodness. You're so late I was beginning to worry that you'd gotten lost. I was thinking about going out to meet you if you hadn't arrived by sunset.
The girl in the anachronistic apron. I don't know what that means. The girl in the anachronistic apron smiles warmly. No, that's, I'm so taken aback by her outdated mode of dress that I can't even form a proper sentence. Perhaps attributing my hesitance to distrust, the girl tilts her head a little.
You're Shiki-sama, aren't you?
Yeah, but you don't have to call me Sama.
You are, right? Oh, please don't scare me like that. I was beginning to think I'd made another mistake back there.
The girl's mannerisms are like those of a mother scolding her child. But in spite of that, there's a smile on her face, and it doesn't break the warm feeling about her. She wears an apron over a kimono. Kimono, that's the proper one. She comes out to greet guests and addresses someone like me with Sama. This must mean that she's... are you one of the maids here by any chance? The girl answers my question with nothing but a smile.
Come, you must be tired. Please do come in. Akiya-sama is waiting for you in the sitting room.
The girl quickly crosses the lobby and heads towards the sitting room. Turning back as if she just remembered something, she makes a bow, a full smile on her face.
Welcome home, Shiki-sama.
Her greeting is accompanied by her flower-like smile. I can't think of any reply, so I just follow her hesitatingly. I feel like you could have just said hesitantly there, but what do I know? Guided by the girl, I head to the sitting room. It's as if I'm seeing it for the first time. I don't know if I've forgotten about it in the last 8 years, or they had it refurbished since then. Either way, it feels like someone else's house now, and it's unsettling. As I'm looking around the sitting room, the maid in the apron lowers her head in a quick bow.
I've brought Shiki-sama with me. Well done. You may return to the kitchen, Kohaku. Thank you.
It seems that maid's name is Kohaku. Kohaku-san gives a small bow, as if to say farewell, and leaves the sitting room. This leaves me and 2 girls I don't recognize.
It has been a long time, Nissan.
I'm sorry. Every time I think of Nissan, I just think of that one meme. It's like, I love you, Nissan, and it's just a Nissan car. Says the girl with long black hair and sharp eyes. All my thought processes stop at once. My mind goes blank, and I can't think of any words of greeting. All I can do is nod with a, yeah. I don't think it can be helped. This Akiya that I had not seen in 8 years is not the Akiya I remember. She's completely transformed into a proper young lady of a noble family.
Nissan?
The black-haired girl tilts her head slightly. Pathetically, all I can say are dumb-sounding things. My mind is turning in somersaults as I try to recognize the girl before me as Akiya, but it seems like Akiya already recognizes me as her brother.
You do not look well. Would you like to rest before we talk?
Akiya throws a sharp glance in my direction. Is it just my imagination that she looks like she's in a bad mood? No, I'm alright. I was just surprised at how much you've changed, Akiya.
People do change over the course of 8 years, Nissan. We are at an age of change. Or did you think we would remain as we were forever?
What is this? I can feel the thorns in Akiya's words. No, you've definitely changed, Akiya. You've become more beautiful than before. That isn't flattery. It's how I really feel. And... indeed. God damn it.
Indeed. But you, on the other hand, have not changed much at all.
Akiya answers coldly, her eyes closed. Well, I came prepared for something like this. It is as I'd thought. Seems Akiya does not think well of me.
If you are feeling well, let us finish our conversation. You have yet to hear the details about why you were called back here, Nissan.
I've heard nothing more than a sudden come back to the mansion, though I found out the old man passed away in the papers. If the head of a major company dies, it definitely makes it in the financial papers. Word of Tohno Makihisa's death reached his son, Tohno Shiki, via the newspaper after the funeral. Even though his relatives hadn't told him, this disinherited son could pick up news of his father's death merely by buying a 100-yen paper. Might be cynical of me to say so, but the world has certainly become a convenient place.
I'm sorry. It was my fault that you did not get the news about father.
Akiya quietly lowers her head. That's alright. Either way, it's not like he would come back from the dead if I went. It's not something you should be worried about.
I'm sorry. It is somewhat comforting to hear you say that.
Akiya's face is serious, but this is not a topic I care much about. The funeral is a ceremony for those who cannot let go of their feelings for the deceased to achieve such detachment. For someone like me, who cut off such feelings a long time ago, there is no need.
Calling you back here was my idea. It would be odd for the eldest son of the Tohnos to be entrusted to the Arimas forever. Now that father has passed away, the only Tohnos by blood are you and I, Nissan. I don't know what father was thinking when he entrusted you to the Arimas, but he's no longer with us, so there's no longer any need for you to live with them. That is why I had you come back here.
That's all well and good, but I'm quite surprised you were able to get our relatives to agree to this. Wasn't it they who came up with the idea of leaving me with the Arimases in the first place?
That may be so, but now I am the head of the Tohno family. I declined every one of the proposals from our relatives. I would like you to continue living here, Nissan, but this is a place with rules. You will avoid living the overly casual lifestyle you've been leading up until now.
I'm afraid that isn't going to happen, Akiya. There's no way I can go back to being some well-mannered gentleman now. Not that I want to.
I will not ask more of you, but do try to. Or are you saying you're unable to do what I already have?
Akiya shoots me a cold look. Feels like she's hitting me with her grudge against me for leaving her here for the last 8 years. Alright, I get it. I'll try my best. Akiya just stares at me, as if she doesn't quite believe me.
You do not need to try, as long as you get the results.
Her pose is dignified, her words merciless.
Let's get back to the topic. Right now, you and I are the only ones living here. I do not care for having too many people around, so I cleared everyone out.
Oh, hold on a second, Akiya. You cleared everyone out? I apologize if you heard that just now. I had to burp. And again.
You wouldn't want to run into one of our relatives in the mansion, would you, Nissan? I've put off most of the servants, but there are enough for you and I, so there are no problems.
Wait, no problems? You're going to get attacked at our family meeting if you do something like that.
Oh, please be quiet. Rather than have the mansion overflowing with people, wouldn't you feel more relaxed with just the two of us here?
Ugh. Well, it's true that I would feel relaxed, but you've only just become head of the family, Akiya. If you go around abusing your powers like some kind of dictator, our relatives aren't going to keep quiet. Even the old man didn't go against their opinions.
Indeed. That's why father entrusted you to the Arimas. I, on the other hand, have despised them ever since I was a child. I'm not going to put up with their whining any longer.
Not going to put up with... Look, Akiya.
Enough! Just listen. You don't have to worry about me. Please, just worry about your own life from now on, Nissan. I can see it's going to be difficult for you in many ways.
Akiya says sullenly, looking away a little.
Now then, if there's anything you don't understand, ask her, Hisui.
She looks at the girl standing by her side. The girl called Hisui bows expressionlessly.
This is Hisui. She will be your personal maid from now on. Isn't that acceptable?
Hold on. Personal maid? You mean...
In other words, she's your servant.
She said the thing. She said the thing from Fate. Everybody look, it's a Fate reference. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to. Akiya declares as if it were obvious. I can't believe it. Fitting with the western style of the house, the girl in the maid outfit stands there, as if it is natural to do so. Hold on, I'm not a kid, you know. I don't need a servant. I can take care of myself.
Would that include the cooking and the laundry?
Aki is pretty sharp at pointing these things out.
At any rate, now that you've returned to this house, you will obey my directions. I don't know how you lived at the Arima house, but you're living at the Tohno house now. Please accept everything given to you.
I can't say anything, and my eyes drift towards Hisui. There's also a typo in that last sentence. There's an I right before the my. Now, the whole thing's unplayable now. Throw it away. As expected, she simply looks back at me expressionlessly, like a doll.
Well then, Hisui, please show Nissan to his room.
Yes, my lady. Hisui approaches me with a shadow-like lack of presence.
I will guide you to your room, Shiki-sama.
Hisui heads towards the lobby. Sighing, I head off towards the lobby as well. We enter the lobby. This mansion is split into east and west wings, with the lobby in the middle. The lobby is like the body of a bird whose wings are the halls, extending diagonally to the east and west. Each wing is about the size of a small hospital. I remember the house is constructed symmetrically, so both the east and west wings have the same floor plan.
Your room is this way, Shiki-sama.
Hisui climbs up a flight of stairs. Seems like my room is on the second floor. Come to think of it, the servants' rooms should be on the first floor of the west wing, so that's probably where Hisui and Kohaku's rooms are. Outside, the sun is already set. The girl in the maid uniform walks down the long, dimly lit hallway without a word. It kind of feels like a wonderland. Without thinking, I let my thoughts slip out.
Did you say something, Shiki-sama?
Hisui stops and looks back at me. No, just talking to myself. Don't worry about it. After staring at me, Hisui bows and starts walking again. I guess this is what they call being at a loss for words. The room Hisui led me to is not one made for a mere high school student to live in. Is this my room?
Yes. If you are displeased with it, I can arrange for a different one.
No, there's no way I could be displeased with it. It's just a little, no, really too fancy for me.
Shiki-sama.
It's fine. I'll gladly use this room.
Yes, this room has not been touched since 8 years ago, so I do not believe you will find anything unsatisfactory with it. There's something a little odd about the way Hisui said that. It's as if she was implying this was once my room. Hey, is this by any chance my old room? That is what I've been told. Am I mistaken?
Hisui inclines her head to the side slightly. I feel relieved. It seems this girl can express emotion after all. Well, it might be, now that you mention it. I do remember it faintly, so it must be so. I can't feel any sense of familiarity about this place at all, but I guess that's what it's like after you leave a place for 8 years. I can't get settled here, though. I was living in a 6.5 mat-sized room until this morning. It's like I'm staying in some high-class hotel.
I understand how you feel, but please try to get used to it. From today onwards, you are the eldest son of the Tohno house, Shiki-sama.
You're right. I've got to do my best so I at least look like it on the outside. With a thump, I drop my bag on the table and stretch my back. I've been feeling a little stressed out with everything that's happened so far, but I guess I've got no choice but to adjust from today onwards.
Shiki-sama, all of your luggage has been brought here. Is there anything more you require?
No, not really. Why do you ask?
There was very little delivered. If there is anything you need, I can have it prepared, so please do not hesitate to ask.
I see. No, I don't need anything more for now. I didn't have much luggage to begin with. My luggage is just this bag, these glasses, and the textbooks in my bag, and that white ribbon with an unidentified owner. That's all. Anyways, you don't have to worry about the luggage. This fancy room is more than enough for me.
I understand. Well then, I shall come to call you in an hour's time.
An hour? For dinner, you mean?
Yes. Please relax until then.
As expected, Hisui says everything with an expressionless face. But even if she tells me to relax, just how am I supposed to do that here? The clock says it's 6 o'clock. Usually I'd be watching TV in the sitting room around this time, but I'm having serious doubts as to whether there's any such thing in this mansion. Hisui, I know it's kind of a trivial thing to ask about, but is there a television in this mansion?
A television?
Hisui's eyes narrow slightly. I know I'm the one who asked, but it really is a stupid question. I feel like there's something wrong with asking about the presence of a TV in a luxurious mansion like this. Hisui makes a rare, troubled face and stares off into space.
There is no television in the sitting room. Some of the visitors did make use of one, but when they departed they packed it up with their luggage and took it back with them, so I do not believe there are any remaining.
Hold on, visitors? Like who? For how long?
Relatives. The eldest son of Kugamine-sama from a branch of the family, Tozaki-sama's third daughter and her fiancé, and Kishima-sama's eldest son came to stay for close to 3 years.
3 years, huh? Hisui, that's what you'd call freeloaders, not visitors. Hisui does not reply. No matter what kind of people these freeloaders were, it seems that servants can't say anything bad about them. Well, at any rate, it seems like those relatives... Wait, what? Sorry, I blanked out for a second. Well, at any rate, it seems like those relatives had brought and taken back their own luggage with them. My old man hated the products of modern culture, thinking them all vulgar. There was no way he would ever watch a TV. Akia, who had been educated by him for the last 8 years, would probably be the same. Well, it's not like I'll die without one. Hisui is silent. Like a perfect example for servants, Hisui says nothing unless she is being asked a direct question. This is, of course, kind of depressing for me. I want to make that expressionless face break into a smile somehow, but that seems impossible with just any old half-hearted effort. Oh, there was a library on the first floor of the West Wing, wasn't there? Maybe I'll go find something to read when I have some free time. Hisui does not reply. She just stands there in the doorway. I can't even tell where she's looking. Hisui? Hisui doesn't say a word. Suddenly, she looks straight at me.
I believe there is one in Nasan's room.
Huh? I have no idea what she's talking about. There's one of what?
A television. I remember seeing one in Nasan's room.
Hisui says, as if remembering something from many years ago. Hold on, Nasan? Don't tell me you're talking about Kohaku-san.
Yes. Right now, the only people working at this mansion are Nasan and I.
Now that she mentions it, they do look alike. I just couldn't connect them as sisters because Kohaku-san is always smiling so warmly, and Hisui is always expressionless. I see. Kohaku-san does look like the type of person who'd watch those variety shows. But I balk at going to Kohaku-san's room to tell her, let me watch your TV. Sorry, just forget I ever asked. After all, I'll be living here from now on, so I've got to follow the rules of the mansion. God knows what sort of cynical comment I'd be in for from Akia if I started watching television. It seems I'll be leading a scholarly student life, fit for a member of the Tohno family from now on. Alright, I'll be in my room until dinner, so just come and call me when it's time. You've got other things to do, don't you, Hisui? Hisui nods in assent and turns around. Silently opening the door, she leaves the room. Dinner takes place with Akia and I being face to face. I guess it's natural here, as Hisui and Kohaku-san do not eat with us, standing behind us to tend to our needs. I thought it would be natural if all 4 of us ate together, so you could say I'm caught off guard by this inexplicably tense dinner. I should mention at this point that I've totally forgotten anything related to table manners by now. Well, I do remember little pieces, so it's not like I'm a complete amateur, but humans tend to pack away unused memories into the corners of their mind. The tension was actually quite thrilling, with every one of my movements causing Akia to raise an eyebrow. When I think about how I'll have to go through this every day, though, it's really depressing. Finishing dinner, I return to my room. It's still only just past 8 at night. It's too early to sleep, so what should I do? Okay, let me check the guide real quick. Okay, choice 4 doesn't affect the ending, but if you wish, you can replay the route to change the decision. Okay. In that case, what I will do is create save right here, and then create another save right here, just so I have a place to go back to. As for which choice I'll make, I'll go and talk with Akiya. When I get to the sitting room, Akiya is relaxing there alone. There's no sign of Kohaku-san or Hisui. There are 2 teacups on the table, and Akiya is using one of them.
Oh, do you drink tea after meals too, Nissan?
No, nothing like that. I just thought I'd come and talk to you. My expression tells her I'll go away if I'm bothering you.
Then please, sit down. Is tea alright for you?
Sure. I'll have anything that's nice. I actually prefer Japanese tea, but I'll keep that bit of selfishness to myself. Akiya takes the teapot and pours transparent red tea into another teacup. Thank you. I sit on the sofa and raise the teacup to my mouth. Before my eyes is the cool and collected Akiya, and it makes me a bit uneasy. I came to talk to her, but to be honest, I really don't know what to do. I really don't know what to say now that she's in front of me.
Nissan? You're very quiet. Didn't you come to talk to me?
Akiya stares. The atmosphere is not so much that of a younger sister, but more like that of an unfamiliar young lady. It's not one in which I can speak freely. Well, I was just wondering what you've been doing for the past 8 years.
It goes without saying. With Nissan not around, Father's attention turns solely to me.
Akiya glares in complaint. Seems that the last 8 years are a taboo subject.
And what about you? What have you been doing for 8 years? I sent many letters, but didn't receive a single reply.
I choke involuntarily. Certainly Akiya sent many letters, but I never replied. I was a poor correspondent, but at the bottom of my heart I wanted to sever all links with the Tohno mansion, and that made me reluctant to write to Akiya.
Well, don't worry about the letters. Even if you had answered, I'm sure Father would never have allowed the replies into the house. More importantly, how do you feel returning to the mansion for the first time in 8 years? It's changed very little, though there was some restoration work done.
In spite of Akiya's words, the mansion still feels completely unknown to me. 8 years ago, I was just a child. Even if I remember the mansion a little, I feel like I'm in someone else's house, and it's very unsettling.
Nissan?
No, I was just lost in thought for a moment. You say this mansion's changed very little, but it's pretty unsettling for me. Though the sitting room and the lobby are kind of familiar, I can't really remember the corridor, nor my room.
Really? I guess 8 years is a long time.
I guess that's it. It's like half my life so far. Can't really expect to have a clear memory. Well, it's been 8...
Well, it's been 8 years, so it doesn't feel right, but I think you...
Oh god, I can't discern who is saying what sometimes, and I'm really stupid and I'm sorry for it. Well, it's been 8 years, so it doesn't feel right, but I think I'll get used to it. I'll be thankful if you overlook my poor manners for a while.
Please, don't be ridiculous. I can hardly look any more leniently upon Nissan's manners than I do already.
But... Ugh, that was close. I almost breathed the tea I was drinking. At supper, Akiya's look sent me into a cold sweat after all I did was use the wrong knife. I see. You were being lenient back then.
Yes, I am making concessions appropriate to your abilities. Nissan has been brought up by the Aramas after all. As Aunt Keiko comes from a branch family, a certain amount of laissez-faire? I think that's how that's pronounced. Laissez-faire? I don't know. Someone correct me on that if they feel it's necessary. Was permitted, and you were spoiled, Nissan. The result is the supper we had a while ago.
Well, it can't be helped, can it? We never really thought I'd be returning here.
Is that so? You almost sound like you didn't want to return, Nissan.
Don't be stupid. It's not like that. I may have had my doubts, but I couldn't just leave you alone here, could I? What kind of brother would I be then? Yes. That's the reason I returned. If it weren't for Akiya, I would have never have returned.
Since I heard nothing for almost 8 years, I always wondered whether...
Is this Shiki? It's probably Shiki. Since I heard nothing for almost 8 years, I always wondered whether you were alright on your own. I came back to the mansion because I was worried about you. Looking a little off to the side, I put my honest feelings into words.
Well, then
But I guess I was just worrying over nothing. In the past 8 years, you seem to have grown strong. I'm relieved, but a little disappointed. No, a bit is saying too little. Since I only had the image of the calm Akiya back when she was small, the sharp Akiya right now seems like a different person.
Really? I'm sorry I didn't meet Nisan's expectations.
Akiya's eyes are scary. Crap, I think I may have said too much again.
Well then, Nisan, how was life at the Arima residence?
Akiya asks, still with the frightening expression. I feel like I'm under terrible pressure, even though I'm only talking to my younger sister.
Nisan, did you hear what I said?
I heard. Life at the Arimas is right. It was normal. There were no real problems. Seems it was more suited for me living there, too.
That's not what I meant. How is your health? I've heard you collapsed a lot from your chronic anemia.
Yeah. I did for about a year after I left the hospital, but I'm okay now. I only have problems occasionally, about once a month. I'm certainly not frail enough to be worried about. Bluffing, I strike my chest with its scar. Akiya nods in serious assent.
But Nisan, you've also started wearing glasses. After going to the hospital, did your eyesight fail also?
I see. Akiya doesn't know I wear glasses, or why I wear them. I can't just explain the lines along which things break, or that they don't appear when I wear these glasses. Well, it's nothing. My eyes became a little strange after the incident, but it's not like my eyesight's gone bad, so it's not really a serious problem.
Really? I was surprised when I saw you a while ago. I didn't know you had started wearing glasses, Nisan.
Really? You seemed pretty calm back then.
Of course. I was meeting you for the first time in 8 years. I couldn't let you see me acting strange.
Akiya's brow creases sullenly.
Akiya-sama! The bath is ready. What should I do? Really? Thank you, Kohaku. I'll go soon, so go ahead. Is that alright? After all, you're relaxing with Shiki-sama. Shiki-sama might run away, but the bath won't. Please, relax a little longer. It's fine. We weren't talking about anything important anyways.
Akiya stands and walks past Kohaku-san into the lobby. Kohaku-san follows Akiya. Left alone in the sitting room, I finished the tea. Akiya and Kohaku-san seem to be heading to the bath, so I guess I'll go back to my room. Hang on. Akiya and Kohaku-san aren't going to take a bath together, are they? No, I bet they are. Then maybe Kohaku-san would be washing her back? Of course, with another girl, that's no problem, but...
Well, you are free to imagine whatever you wish, Nisan, but...
Akiya returns with amazing timing.
Don't force Hisui to do stupid things. Unlike Kohaku, she doesn't really get jokes.
Akiya looks accusingly, as if she sees my thoughts. I'm surprised. Maybe this mansion has some listening devices. Wait, what are you doing back here? Weren't you taking a bath with Kohaku-san?
I forgot to tell you something about the bath. Nisan, the large bathroom we used a long time ago isn't used anymore. It would be too much for Hisui and Kohaku to take care of, so it's been closed up.
Large bathroom? Was there such a place? I sputter a bit. Unable to remember, I make a doubtful face. Akiya's brows knit terribly.
The bath in the courtyard. You don't even remember that?
Well, now that she mentions it, I guess there was such a thing. But this is a European-style mansion. Isn't such a thing a little out of place?
Father half liked the Japanese style of architecture. That's why the detached building is Japanese style as well. Anyway, if you want to have a bath, please use your own. The second bathroom behind the lobby is yours, Nisan.
With that, Akiya leaves. Alright. With Akiya gone, there's no point in staying in the sitting room. I'll have a bath too and return to my own room. When I returned to my room, my bed has been made. I guess Hisui did it when I was gone. I'm glad she did, but it's really more than I deserve. I scratch my cheek. Then...
Are you there, Shiki-sama?
I can hear Hisui's voice, along with a knock at the door. Yeah, I'm here. Come in.
Excuse me. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for making my bed, Hisui. Hisui quietly nods in acceptance. Ugh. Just as I thought. I'm not used to this. Is there anything else you want to tell me?
No, nothing from me, but Akiya-sama has instructed me to answer any questions you may have.
I see. There are many things I want to ask, but I'll probably get to know them as I continue to live here. Yeah. What I want to know right now before I sleep is it true that the curfew here is 7?
Yes. The main gate is locked at 7, and all the entrances to the mansion are to be locked at 8. It is also a rule that one must not try to go walking around the mansion after 10.
Not even walking around in the mansion? Well, I've got no complaint with that, but isn't that kind of harsh? Akiya and I aren't children, so I don't think you have to go that far.
Indeed. It is a rule, however, so please abide by it. You are aware of the recent disturbances at night, are you not, Shiki-sama?
Yeah, that vampire thing Arihiko was talking about. Well, as long as something like that is happening, I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. What else? Oh, do you mind if I ask an off-topic question?
Yes, what is it?
I'd like to know what kind of work you and Kohaku-san do around here.
I am here to serve your needs, and my sister Kohaku is to serve the Lady Akiha-sama. In our spare time, we do the maintenance chores around the mansion. Is there anything more you would like to know?
To serve. So that's what it is after all. My shoulders suddenly feel heavier. It seemed completely natural to Akiya when she said it, but I'm nothing more than a normal high school student. I have no interest in having a girl close to my age serving me, at least for now. By serving me, you mean you're a personal servant?
Yes. Please do not hesitate to give me any instructions.
Well, I get it. Going by how Akiya was talking about you, it doesn't seem like I can dismiss you, so I'll just obediently let you serve me.
Is there anything in particular you would like?
Nothing in particular, but could you stop calling me Shiki-sama? To be honest, I get chills down my back when I hear it.
But Shiki-sama, you are my master.
That's what I'm saying I hate. I've been living a normal life up until yesterday. I have no desire to start living a life where a girl my age addresses me with Sama.
I see.
Hisui's response was less than enthusiastic. Just call me Shiki, and in exchange I'll call you Hisui. Let's do away with the formalities and be more casual with each other. Still expressionless, Hisui lowers her eyebrows, as if she's being troubled.
But you are my employer.
It's not like I'm hiring you. You're the one doing the things I can't, so you're the great one.
I see.
Hisui gives another unenthusiastic reply. Looks like I won't be able to talk her into it in just one day. Anyhow, that's how it is. Don't be so formal towards me. I'll be grateful if you'd tell that to your sister Kohaku-san too.
Very well. As you say, Shiki-sama.
Expressionless, Hisui bows her head. She completely failed to understand.
I will be leaving now. Please rest for tonight.
Bowing, Hisui puts her hand on the doorknob. Oh, I forgot to ask something. Oh, hold on for a sec. Running towards the door, I put my hand on Hisui's shoulder before she leaves me. In an instant, Hisui's arm pushes away my arm with incredible momentum. With a whack, she slaps my hand away and leaps back. It's so sudden, that's the only thing I can say. Hisui is expressionless, but she glares at me fiercely. Did I just do something wrong?
I'm very sorry.
Hisui's voice sounds very nervous.
I'm not used to being touched. Please forgive me.
Hisui's shoulders are faintly trembling. I feel like I just did something really terrible. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize without thinking. I don't understand why myself. I just feel sorry for Hisui and I lower my head. Hisui says nothing. I get the feeling her stare is calm again.
You have nothing to apologize for, Shiki-sama. I am the one to blame.
No, well, maybe, but I scratch my head. Hisui stares at me, pausing only to blink for a second.
What was it you wanted to ask me, Shiki-sama?
That's right. I stopped Hisui because I wanted to ask her something. Oh, I wanted to ask about Akiya. Doesn't she go to a boarding school?
That was only during middle school, Shiki-sama. From this year onwards, Akiya-sama has special permission to attend school from home.
You mean she goes to school from here?
Yes, but it is uncommon for her to come home before dusk, like today. Akiya-sama has practice up until dinner, so she is always home before 7.
Practice? Practice what?
Today is Thursday, so she would have had violin practice.
Eh?
Usually she's able to return before dinner on weekdays, so if you have anything to say to Akiya-sama, please let Nason know after dinner.
Hisui bows to say goodbye and leaves the room. Violin practice. What on earth is that? She's not some upper-class lady or anything, so why should she have to do something as bothersome as... Oh wait, she is an upper-class lady. Yes, come to think of it, my sister Tohno Akiya is a natural-born upper-class lady. In my memories, she was always the obedient, ever uneasy sister constantly following me around. As a child, she was always quiet, never having even the courage to express her own desires. She was a frail girl who would always live in fear of a scolding from our father. Yeah, people really do change after 8 years. After 8 years, I've become the me I am now. Akiya has become the person she is right now, too. 8 years is a long time. It's half of our lives up until now. I was absent from this mansion during that vital period where a child becomes an adult. I'm sorry, Akiya. I think things would have been better if I had been with her during those 8 years. I unknowingly mumble an apology. Okay, it's been almost an hour of this, so we're going to call it here. I hope you've enjoyed this so far. I'm not really sure where I stand on my enjoyment for this, but I'm enjoying it a moderate amount. Nothing's really gripped me quite yet, but I am interested somewhat in what's actually happening in the world, so hopefully things pick up relatively soon. But anyway, thank you for watching. As always, my name is Saphir Leone. Take care of yourselves and stay safe.